What's going on, everybody? Happy whatever day it is that you're watching this. Could be a Saturday, could be a Sunday, could be a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, probably not on a Friday because you're busy. You know why you're busy? Because you're busy appreciating your spouse. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Have you ever stepped back and just thought about what your significant other does for you? It's probably a shit ton. She probably does, or he, or him, or they. Now we're not getting into that bullshit. But one of them, one of those multiple personalities, probably does something cool for you at least once a month. In my case, I'm lucky that I have someone, Beth, she's a she, does that for me on a daily basis. It's pretty cool when you go through life with someone that you guys got to figure it out. We've got it dialed in, kind of. Well, to an extent, right? There's always fuck ups here and there, and we're gonna get into that. But first, go out and like and subscribe to The Bar Is Open with Beth and Greg. Like and subscribe to, or just go out to Instagram. Check out The Bar Is Open with Beth and Greg. Check out my Instagram, which is Greg LaMontagne, out on Instagram. You can check us out on Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, all the places. I was going to throw in a random fuck, but I didn't need to. But I also didn't need to say that either. So what I want to get into today, this topic, if you will, I think goes kind of unheard a lot of times. And what I mean by that is like just appreciation, right? You go through life, you'd be like, hey, I try and say, I appreciate you, right? And my buddy Chuck back in the day he used to say, I appreciate you. And that was kind of a different framing of things, right? When you say, I appreciate you, just as opposed to, I appreciate it. The something you did. I appreciate it. I appreciate you for doing something, right? It's kind of a cool way to reframe what you're talking about. You appreciate the person for what they've done for you, right? And that's a huge thing. Have you ever stepped back and thought about that? And just take fucking 2 minutes a day and be like, okay, what did this person, or what did these people, or what did the people I work with, 40 or 50 or 60 hours a week do for me? It's kind of an interesting retrospect to have. So on your way home from work, you're driving down the 405 in California, you're driving down I-10 in Phoenix, you're driving down the 1604 in San Antonio, you're on the I-5 heading home on the East Coast, you're on whatever highway that you're stuck in shitty traffic for however long, but you're probably just blaring music, you're just kind of like spaced out, zoned out, right? Because you're on autopilot. Life can get on autopilot very easily. Very easily. And I don't blame you. Like, I get on autopilot. Have you ever gone through a fucking, driven from, you do it every day? And it's one of those things where you're like, holy shit, did I just run a stoplight? You didn't, because your brain knows to stop at red lights, generally speaking. Otherwise, you'd be wrecking everywhere. But you get up in the morning, you grab your coffee, you pack up your lunch box, get your muffin that my wife buys and does the grocery shopping every week for, right? Because otherwise I wouldn't have the blueberry muffins I love. I wouldn't have the apple for my pre-lunch snack because I don't do grocery shopping. It's this kind of divide and conquer mentality that we end up having. So it has to be an equal kind of thing. There are things that I do that she doesn't, and there are things that she does that I don't, right? And it took us a long time to dial that in, and we're still constantly kind of dialing things in, right? And it's never, oh, you're the one that does this. You're the one that does this. I'm not asking her to go mow the fucking lawn. And she's not asking me to do all the laundry. By no means am I allowed to do fucking laundry. I learned that lesson about 17 years ago at this point. Right? So we don't have kids. So how do you guys separate in say you have, let's say 2 kids. Let's say let's add a third. You have 3 kids. How do you divide and conquer what needs to be done for those kids? Do you guys have a calendar? Do you have a schedule? Does one parent take care of 2 of them? Does one parent take care of each? Do you split them all up? Do you chop them in half? Do you just like mix them in a bag and you have to have that fucking giant car that you can have 7 car seats because all their friends are coming? We have dogs. So what happens is, say they've got to go to the vet. Or go get groomed or something like that. This is the closest thing I have to saying we have fur babies. And I know some of you guys out there are going to be like, those aren't kids. No, they're not. We know that. They're dogs. They can lay on the floor, but your kids probably lay on the floor too. So get fucked. I'll drop them off at the groomer, leave my truck because my truck's the dog mobile. And then I'll take her car to work. And then Beth will take my truck to go pick up the dog from the groomer so that, you know what I mean? Like you divide and conquer, you figure these things out as you go. We find a strict division of effort is our thing, generally speaking. Like I said, Beth does the laundry because I suck at it. I suck at it, evidently. I've ruined way too much of Beth's clothing. And I think that's really the key, right? Like throwback moment when I was a kid. I'll call myself a kid. I think I was 25. So this is like 23. I don't know, something like that. First thing I ever bought when I got a bonus from work was a washer and dryer because I lived in this shitty little apartment, but I had this little cutout on the deck, on the porch, whatever, that little back patio thing, that I could put a washer and dryer in there. And I went there and I got a $300 washer and a $300 dryer because I was tired of going down and using the quarter one and doing my laundry. But when you're using quarters, man, you're throwing all your shit in to one washer machine. But now Beth has taught me after, 18 years, we're coming up on 18 years of marriage this August. So in about about 3 weeks from now. And she taught me that you're supposed to separate things. Well, I didn't know that. I mean, I kind of knew that. But did I give a shit? No. But reds and whites don't go together. I don't really even wear whites anymore because why would I? Right? Like, who wears white clothing nowadays? Anyway. But I mentioned she does that. I would never expect my wife to mow the lawn or weed whack or cut tree limbs down or do things. I just don't. That's just separation, right? We separate like what expectations are of each other. So just setting that groundwork brings up what it means to appreciate each other. Beth cooks, I would say, 5 nights a week, 6 nights a week, something like that. I do the dishes. Easy enough. She cooked. She prepared everything. Least I can do is wash off some bowls and stuff them in the dishwasher, right? And then play the Jenga game with the dishwasher. Everybody does that. Well, not everybody. Guys do that. Play the Jenga game, right? The coolest part about that is, well, for a long time, for a while, I cooked, and then she took over the cooking duties. It depends on your schedule, because back in the day, Beth worked nights also. So I would cook. I would come home, go to Taekwondo, come home, cook, do that stuff. And then over the past, 8 years, 9 years, something like that, Beth has taken over kind of the cooking detail, if you will. Totally fine. I do the dishes. So not to belabor that point, it comes down to, all right, 50-50, right? I don't want her to do dishes. Go sit down on the couch, relax, chill out, right? She feeds the dogs in the morning. I feed the dogs at night. Easy, simple, right? Another thing that I noticed is, and this isn't even in my notes, is one of these things about like saying yes and trying to say yes more often versus no. So I got in a habit for a while there where she would ask something, I'd be like, no, I don't know why. Was I being lazy? Was I just being a dick? I don't know. But it was one of those things where it was like, oh, it's too much. It's too much more to add on to the daily. Fuck off, Greg. Right? Now it's like, can you do this? Yeah, sure. It takes 2 seconds. Like earlier today. Okay, hey, I got to go do something. Can you let Henry back in? He's out back chilling. Can you let him in like 5 minutes? Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I? It's not you're not taking me out of doing something important. I was literally fucking drinking a coffee and scrolling through my phone, right? Looking at the Insta, doing one of those doom scrolls. But, the only thing I don't, when it comes to laundry, is I don't ask her to do is my fucking stinky, sweaty jujitsu gear. As soon as I come home, that shit's straight in the washing machine, and I take care of that. So I do some laundry, but it's kind of like not her responsibility at that point. Because, I mean, those things weigh about fucking 18 pounds of sweat afterwards, right? Do you have conversations about that, like what the chores are, if you will? Because everybody's got chores. Like I got to sweep. Like I literally have to sweep my house. It's one of those things. I got to sweep. I vacuum. Oh, back in the day, interesting and a fun fact is I talked shit about Beth cleaning one time. This was, I would say 2000. We got married in 2007. I would say it was probably like 2005, 2006, something like this. And Beth loves Pledge. I don't know if she loves the smell. I don't know if she huffs it. I don't know what it is, but she loves Pledge. And Pledge on everything, to me, makes shit stick to it. We had 2 dogs and a cat. We had 2 dogs and 2 cats back then. And we lived in this little tiny condo. And it was a great place. But everything sticks to it. So I told her she did it wrong. I was like, no, you can't do that. So she said, fine, fuck you, Greg. I'm never cleaning again. And I was dumb enough to say, okay. Shit, I paid for that for my entire life. Like till this day. No, well, I'll get to that here in a second. But you know what I mean? Like cleaning, it's totally fine. I don't mind doing it. I don't mind cleaning toilets. I don't mind doing all that stuff. It actually kind of brings me a sense of peace, right? Where I can be like, all right, I'm going to sweep. She does some things. She cleans counters and she does shit like that. She's a normal person. I'm not saying, and we don't live in a shithole, pigsty kind of thing, like where there's just whatever all over the floor. But no, I just started cleaning. I was like, fine, I can dust. I grew up in a Marine Corps household. My dad was a 22-year master gunnery sergeant in the Marines. So we had clean houses back in the day, right? And my dad had expectations. My mom had expectations. And then you know how that goes. And then it trains you. It took me a long time to break that habit of, oh, there can't be even a little bit of dust on something. I'm okay with it now. But I'm 48. I'll be 49 in about a month as well. But you go like, holy shit. So trash day, for instance, I take out the trash. That's normal. That's me. I pick up the dog poop, right? Totally fine. Don't mind. It is what it is. She cleans the kitty litter box every morning. Every morning, right? It's part of the schedule, which is kind of fun. You know, you get up, do those sorts of things. Balancing the budget. Do you guys talk about your money? Because that's important. I know some people that have, split bank accounts and that works for them. And they put in their 50% and they put in their 50% and they've got the bills covered. Or do you have a shared account and nobody ever fucking talks about it, right? You're like, I'm just blowing money. I'm going to go out and do this and do that. And all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, where'd all our money go? We had this conversation earlier, right? It happens. Like, you got to talk about money and be like, oh, fuck. What do you do when there's not enough money? So Beth is the CFO, the chief financial officer in this house. She watches the bank accounts like a fucking hawk, which is totally fine. She knows if I stop at Chili's on the way home from work to grab a beer or something like that, she's like, hey, did you stop at Chili's? I'm like, yep. Or did you stop here, grab, some beers, whatever. I'm not saying she's stalking me, which she kind of is, but she also knows what's going on. That's important. But when we get sometimes there are those kind of critical moments when something comes up. We have no matter what, when you bring a dog to the vet, it's $500. Like, no matter what. Like, oh, Mickey's got a little cut on his neck, $500. Oh, can you trim his nail? $500. Whatever it is, right? But when shit hits the fan and we're like, okay, we're tight, I'll go in and I'll find money. If you guys get paid 26 times a year, well, there are 2 extra paychecks in that. As long as you're not spending all the money, you should have some extra. It's kind of a cool little budgeting thing. We take all of our car payments, our mortgage rather, and insurance and put that into a separate account every 2 weeks, right? Well, if you don't touch that, you'll have 2 extra paychecks that you've put in towards your mortgage or in towards your car payments because you only pay once a month. So there's 12 payments a month or a year. And then see how that works? You have the extra 2 payments out there. So make sure you're talking about the cash piece because that's an important thing. Resentment can come from a million different places. And it's one of those things that once it's the seeds in there, you'll start finding shit to nitpick at each other, right? And Beth and I went through some of that like years and years and years ago, right? Like, why do you do this? Why do you do that? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? It's never been bad between us, but it happens, right? You're like, having the conversation is super important. And I'm not trying to, again, belabor this, but you need to have conversations about how things are done. Who's going to pick up the kid after school? Get into a habit in the same person. Unless something comes up, there's always something that comes up, right? So the whole reason this topic came to mind is I am very appreciative of my wife of Beth making me iced coffee every single night for like the past couple of years, right? Number one, it saves us a bunch of money because I was going to Starbucks or whatever, Dunkin' Donuts. I've got both of them right outside my neighborhood, grabbing a coffee and then hitting the road to go to work. Well, that's $3, $4, $5 that I don't need to spend. And she just makes it. I'm not even half the time. I'm not even home. I just come home and there's a fresh pot ready for the next morning because it's iced coffee or a cold brew rather. And we got this little contraption. You pour the coffee in there. I've made it in it. I suck at it, but she makes it and she doesn't even drink coffee. Come on. Right? So she makes that coffee every morning. When I get up, there's coffee in there. And every now and again, it's like 11:30 at night. She's like, shit, I forgot to make your coffee. I'm sorry. And I'm like, why the fuck would you be sorry? Like, you make it 99 out of 100 days. There's no reason to be sorry. Shit. I'll just stop at the Starbucks that one time, right? There's literally fucking 4 of them on my way to work, right? Or I'll just run around the corner and grab another one. It's no big deal. So there's never going to be a point where like, oh, Hunt, you fucked up. You didn't make my coffee. No. Because there are weekends where I'm like, the grass is long and I'm like, I just don't feel like mowing the fucking lawn. It is hot as balls out. I slept in too late. It's fucking 11 o'clock in the morning and it's 100 degrees already. I don't feel like mowing the lawn. She's not going to be like, hey, honey, get out there and mow the lawn. She's not going to do that. And nor should you, right? Realistic expectations of each other. She doesn't want to do the laundry on the weekend. Find something else to wear, right? Do your own fucking laundry if you really need it that bad. But your spouse, husband or wife, whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, that manages that, you cannot hold them to 100% accuracy or whatever you want to call it every time. It's just life, man. Life comes at you and shit and priorities change and all of those sorts of things. You can't expect people to be perfect. And fuck that. Nor would I want them to, right? Because what that does when coffee doesn't get made sometimes, I get to stop at Starbucks and grab a coffee. Or Dunkin' Donuts, and that's a little treat, right? I love my iced coffee that we make. It's Black Rifle coffee, right? She grinds it up, does the thing. But it gives me a little bit of a change. And maybe you probably shouldn't wear the same clothes every goddamn week. Dig into your closet. You probably have about 80 shirts you haven't worn in, say, a year or something like that. So know your boundaries, what's necessary. So what's absolutely necessary? Paying your bills, doing those sorts of things. Taking care of your dogs, taking care of your kids, taking care of your whatever the necessary things are in life. And then beyond that, just kind of go with the flow. Figure it out. Divide and conquer. I asked Grok to create a picture of a man appreciating his wife. I'm going to share these two with you. I don't know why it selected Indian people standing in front of what I think is a temple. Not just once. It did it twice. Grok needs some dialing in. I think it's the same temple. But I guess that's what appreciation looks like. Just gazing into each other's eyes and holding her arm. Whatever. Does Beth need one of those shawl things? Probably. But I do appreciate my wife. Appreciate all of you guys. And I know you have somebody you can appreciate. If it's your mom, it's your dad. If it's your sister, your brother, your uncle, your cousin, your whatever it is. Go out and show some appreciation today. Do some people a favor. And then kiss your person goodnight before your head hits a pillow every night. With that, cheers. Go appreciate somebody. See ya.